Ma'am, no, ma'am, we are not able to hear you.
Okay, now am I audible?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Oh, yeah, there was a problem with my headset. All right, so today, girls, good evening, firstly.
Good
Um,
evening.
Good evening. So, we'll be studying today about sorting techniques. Yesterday, we studied about searching techniques, that is, we have seen linear search and binary search. So, are there only two searching techniques? It is nothing of that kind. You have quite a number of searching techniques. Like jump searching, interpolation searching, and many more of that kind. But the basics from an engineering perspective for a technical interview, mostly it relies on these two searching techniques which we have discussed yesterday. All right. So that's how it goes with. Now, coming to sorting techniques, again, there are quite a number of sorting techniques. But again, what they expect from you is basic five sorting techniques of that kind. You have bubble sort, selection sort, insertion sort, quick sort, merge sort. These basic five sorting techniques is what they basically prefer for. Then you might get a doubt that, ma'am, there are other sorting techniques like heap sort and many other ones. So are those not asked? They are also asked during your technical paper. But then those heap sort of things, they come when you start learning about trees. Okay. So when you start studying binary tree and these sort of things, there you come into heap sort, MWay search sort, these sort of things comes over there. All right. So now coming to sorting techniques, why is it so important? Why do you have to go with sorting techniques? Now take your own mobile phone, right? You all carry a mobile phone. So in your mobile phone, when you save a contact, it is not randomly saved. Instead, it is saved in the alphabetical order. That means it is in the dictionary format. Hope you're all understanding. Yes or no? Yeah. So it's completely in a dictionary format. So what has happened over there? It has implemented a sorting technique over there, all right? So they have sorted whenever you're saving your phone number. I'm sorry. Whenever you're saving a phone number and the name that you give, based on the name, it is going to place that name in the list, contact list, depending upon where it correctly fits into. All right. So there are two things going on over there. It is also searching as well as sorting. Where, ma'am, where is it searching? Yeah, it has to search. Now, say for example, you have n number of contacts and you're putting in new contacts. Say for name, you're putting in some name like Andy as your new contact, right? So when you type ANDY, so it goes to the place where the letter A is, then it checks, since after that the next letter is N, it searches where N is, after N, then it searches where D is. So in that way, it has a searching technique. Followed by, it has to sort it in a proper order from A to Z. So it is again doing a sorting technique there. So this is one small example. Now, besides this, when you are going to an ATM, right? When you put in your ATM card, after putting your ATM card, when you put in your account number, so it again searches. It searches in the complete bank, the bank database, because you're going to use an ATM card not at your parent bank. You might use it anywhere. So therefore, so the database, I mean, from the database, it checks out your account number corresponding to your account number, whatever you are typing in. Like, are you trying to withdraw money? Are you trying to see your balance? These things, they're sorted there. Okay, you're doing searching, you're also doing sorting. Where did you search? Who is doing the searching? You're not doing the searching. There, once you put in your account number, the search is going on in the database to check the account number corresponding with it, with the bank account, I mean the name followed by the account balance, and then that is still they're searching. Then you have an options which are in sorted order. That is, you want to withdraw, you wanted to check your balance, you wanted to take it from the savings or your current account, whatever you want, that is in a sorted order. So these things are where you're daily using it. Okay, these are very two small examples that I gave you, but everywhere, whatever you do, you are doing this sorting techniques mostly. Now the question is, which sorting technique do I use for which application? So definitely you need to select from quite a number of sorting techniques. You need to select. So when I teach you bubble sort and I talk about it, and then comes your selection sort, so you might get a doubt. Why did selection sort come into existence? Because does that mean that bubble sort doesn't work well? Therefore, selection sort came. It is not of that kind. Basically, depending on application, there are many sorting techniques. Among that, what is good to your application, you will use it. Okay. So then a question should come in your mind that, man, yesterday you were talking about complexities. I hope you're all understanding what I'm saying, because I did not put the presentation immediately. I want you to understand things. If not, you will just see things. Okay. So are you really understanding, or do you want me to repeat anywhere? Understanding, right? Okay. So yesterday I spoke about complexities. So a question to your mind that, ma'am, does this complexities also apply to the sorting techniques? It definitely does. Okay. So complexities are not just for searching techniques, it is for everything that you have. Let it be anything that you do, even your daily work, definitely you will be checking with the complexities. For that, I gave you a very good example yesterday about the luggage movement things, or about your tea making way. So everything, whatever you do, you have complexities. So even sorting techniques do have their own complexities. So every technique that is being made, like selection sort, bubble sort, quick sort, these sorting techniques, is it an improvisation of those complexities? One part, yes, it is one improvisation over these complexities. So question again in your mind. So ma'am, do we select a algorithm which has the very good complexity, I mean very less time complexity? Should we select in that manner? Again, let me tell you, it depends. It is not that all the time you need to take an algorithm which has less time complexity. Sometimes your application dependency occurs. So at that time, you might need to shift. All right. So this is how your basic data structures, along with their time and space complexity, your best case, worst case, all depends on. All right. So let me start off with bubble sort today. Today I'll be teaching you bubble sort, selection sort, insertion sort. Tomorrow I'll end up with quick sort and merge sort. Okay. Like yesterday, we are going to again trace the entire algorithm, followed by how to write an algorithm, followed by the complexities calculation of a given algorithm. I'm not going to teach all the algorithms today itself because it creates a confusion to your mind. So it's better that you learn 3 today, 2 tomorrow, so that you'll have a perfect idea. All right. So just give me a second. I'm putting it over. Hope you're able to see this.
Yes, ma'am.
Clear, right? Okay. Yeah. All right. So now today we are going to talk. Now I just told you what sorting techniques basically are used in real-time application where you use it. Also, I've told. Now let us first understand bubble sort. So the other name of bubble sort is exchange sort. So please make sure what are the other names of the these algorithms, because at times they will question you what is exchange sort, and then you people say we do not know, we never studied it. It is nothing, it is just bubble sort. Only just to confuse you, they are going with this other name. All right. So bubble sort is nothing but also called as exchange sort. All right. So now how does this sorting works? Basically, let me go, rather than giving you a theoretical explanation, let me take a problem and show you so that you'll understand these points over here. Now consider these elements. I put certain elements. So what is this sorting technique? It is just to arrange your for here it is all numbers. So you have to arrange this numbers from in the ascending order or in the descending order. Choice is yours. You can either go ascending or you can go descending. Preferably everybody goes with ascending order, like how your contacts, it is going from A to Z, not from Z to A, right? So in the same manner, you are trying to sort them in the ascending order. So how does bubble sort works? Now this is your elements here. I did not put an array, but basically this is in the form of an array. Now can you please tell me what is an array here? What's an array, please? Yesterday I told you what an array is.
Linear data structure.
It is a data, very good. It's a linear data structure. So this is an array here. Okay, I did not draw it in the form of an array, I just kept it in that way. So here comes your array. All right. Now what does it do when you are using your elements? In the first pass, I'm just showing how every step it goes. First, what it will do, we will consider the first element. Okay, this is your first element. You will compare this first element with your adjacent element. Okay, you will see which is big, which is small. So comparatively here, you see 55 is bigger than 33. So you do a swap. Okay, so when you do a swap here, it becomes 33 comes here, 55 goes here. And the rest of the elements are at its usual position as usual. All right. Now, once you finish this, again, then you compare the next two elements. That is, you will compare, because 55 came here. So you will compare 55 with its adjacent element. Here you find that 55 is greater than 22. Then you need to do a swap. So here 22 comes over this side and 55 comes here. So 33 is already swapped, so you will not do anything. You will keep it there. Okay. You will not come back and search whether 33 is greater than 22. You will keep on going ahead. You will go in this direction only. You will not come back. Okay. So 33 is here, but here you found that 55 is greater than 25. So you did a swap. So 22 came here, 55 went here. The rest two elements are in its own position, right? Now next, what do? You compare this 55 with the next adjacent number, that is 11. So when you compare, again you found that 55 is greater than 11. So you need to again do a swap. So again 33, 22, 11 as you 33, 22 as usual in its place. This got a swap. So 11 comes here and 55 goes here. 44 as usual in its place. Again now 55 compares it with 44. You find that 55 is bigger than 44. So again, what do? You do a swap. So 44 comes here, 55 comes here. So you will say, ma'am, still it is not in the sorted order. Yes, the algorithm hasn't finished, but what you have to understand, with every one pass, when I said pass one, with every one pass, the bigger number comes to its original position. So 55 came to its original position. Okay. Now let us go with pass 2. Similarly, we are going to take this array, which is one sort which is done, that array. Again, do a comparison between both. So here 33 greater than 22, it requires a swap. So 22 comes here, 33 goes here. The rest of the elements as usual in the place. And again 33 compares with 11. Again it requires a swap. So 11 comes over here, 33 goes here. The rest of the elements like 22, 44, 55 in their own place. Now here you will check, is 33 greater than 44? It is not. So you will not do any swap. Your second pass ends here. Because again, it will take another chance. 44 greater than 55. No, it is not. So it ends up here. Okay. Then you will go to the next pass. Again, pass 3. What it ended with? 22, 11, 33, 44, 55. This was the last pass. It again starts from the beginning. Okay. Again, from the beginning, it compares. So here, when you look at the previous pass, like how I said in pass 1, the biggest number comes to its original position. By the second pass, you found that the second biggest number came to its original position, that is 44 came to its place. Now coming to pass 3, here again it starts from the beginning. 22 checks with 11. It requires a swap, so it does 11, 22, 33, 44, 55. Again 22, it still continues. It will not end up, because now that we are able to see, we are knowing that it is done. But the computer do not do it. It will still continue. So it will check 22 is greater than 33. It doesn't require a swap. Again it goes ahead. 33 greater than 44 doesn't require a swap. Again 44 greater than 55 doesn't require a swap. Then it ends up. That means the loop, the program has to continue. It cannot break immediately. Okay. So finally, what you see, you will find that all the elements came in its sorted order, right? So according to this, by the end of each pass, as I earlier said, the first pass gives the biggest number into original place. Similarly, the second, here it got its own place. In the third pass, this got its own place. In the fourth pass, this also got its own place. Now that there are 5 elements, how many iterations should it have? 5 minus I. Why I here? Because you do not know whether it will be ending up at fourth pass. Understanding it or not. Since it was 5 elements, it has ended up here, and these elements were in this manner. What in case they were again 5 elements, but the elements were more in unordered manner? It might have taken the other passes also. But now that the elements are 5, it has taken 4 passes. Okay. If there were 10 elements, it might have taken 8 or 9 passes. Okay. So here, that's why this 1, 2, 3, 4 passes are represented with I. Numbers, now that you have 5 elements, you could have written 5 here. You can have n number of elements, so you can write it as n minus I. Is that clear, everyone? Clear? No clear? Clear till here? Okay, fine. Now let us see how to write this algorithm. So the algorithm, step 1, what do? You repeat step 2 and 3. The main parts are in step 2 and 3, but for the first instant, you start for I is equal to 1 to n minus 1. That means, what does it mean? Once you finish when you're doing it over here, I is equal to 1. Why did I say? I'm representing this array from I here. 1, 2, 3, 4 like this. This is the representation. 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5, right? So therefore you're saying I is equal to 1, 2. Now why n minus 1 is the question? Why not n? Why should it be n minus 1? Why shouldn't I write it as n? The reason why you're writing it as n minus 1 is because, see the first pass. When you are doing a comparison, where did you stop the comparison? One element before. You were comparing 55 with 44. And when you reach 44, you do not have to compare it. There is no other element to compare. So you don't come at the nth element. You will stop at the previous element. Are you understanding? Yes or no? You're not coming to the...
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, you are not coming to the nth element. You're stopping. If you're able to swap here, you have nothing to do with 44. With nth element, which will you compare where there is no element? Therefore, you will do the comparison till n minus 1 element. From 1 to n minus 1, you have to do the comparison. Automatically, when you do n minus 1, the last position gets its own number. Done. Once that is done, at step 2, you will follow, because it's an inner loop. Because in the first pass, what has happened? Only it is going from, when it is I is equal to 1, in this first pass, it will finish this entire thing. Internally, the loop has to go ahead. This is the first pass. This is I. Assume pass 1 is I here. Inside, there should be somebody to increment this part, right? To go one step from here. So that is represented with a variable called j. So j is a variable. When I is 1, j also will start from 1 and it will keep on incrementing. Only when j increments, this is moving further. Here it moved, then here it moved, then here it moved. I will not move. I will move when this entire thing is finished. So I is the main loop. Inside that, the nested loop will be j. Following it or not? Again, when I becomes 2 from the next element, that means you will leave the first, again from here you will start. When you start again, it is j who is supporting to move ahead. I will not support. Is that clear, everybody? So here j is equal to 1 to n minus I again, because it depends on the ith element. So how are you doing the comparison? Since as I just said that j is the one who is doing the internal comparison. It is this j loop. It is just j variable which is doing the internal comparison. Therefore, you will consider if the first element is a of j, assume that the first element here is a of j, okay? So you're comparing it with whom? You're comparing with this second element. What is the second element? It is a of j plus 1, incremented, right? You cannot write j plus 1, 2, 3. So you will write a of j plus 1. That is what you will be writing, right? So therefore, I have written here a of j is great. If a of j is greater than a of j plus 1, then what you have to perform? You will do a swapping technique. You people are familiar how a swapping technique is done, so I need not explain this. Is that clear? Once everything is done, that means once first pass is over, then it has to go to the second pass. That means what will happen here? It will go back to this step, right? Step 2. So again, j becomes 2. And again, it continues. Again, internally it goes inside and it continues your further steps. Once everything is done, your end of step 2 and step 1 ends here and you will exit. Hope you understood the algorithm. Yes or no?
Yes, ma'am.
All right. Now, how do you calculate the complexity is the question. All right. When we have initially n elements, right? At the first pass, the comparison done are 4. How many elements did you compare in the first pass? Just look at this. You don't have to see the entire thing here. How many did you compare? You need not to go to the last element, as I already said. You will do first 4. Yes? So it is n. If they are n, you are doing n minus. If they are n elements, you are doing n minus 1 at the first instant. Then at the second pass, you are doing n minus 2. If you can locate it from here. You are doing n minus 2 here. Here it is n minus 1. Here it is n minus 2, n minus 3, n minus 4 because you're reducing so that you're getting all at its original position. So like that, you're going to get, so if they are, this is how you basically get your this thing. So when you add this up, all this complexity, n minus 1 plus n minus 2 plus n minus 3 and so on till 1, this can also be written as summation of n minus 1. You know that summation of n minus 1, there's a formula n into n minus 1 by 2, right? I yesterday told you when you have to multiply this, that is, it becomes, what does it become here? It becomes n square plus n square minus n by 2. This is what it becomes, right? And then once you finish this, how do you decide order? Depending upon the highest degree of polynomial. Here it is 2, therefore your notation becomes O of n square, the time complexity. What are we talking here? We are considering the worst case because as I told you yesterday, you have to take the maximum case of it. So you're taking the worst case of it. Best case, it can happen in the first instance. Everything, if it is sorted, assume that if the entire list is not in this way, already it is sorted. 11, 22 are in its own place. So what is the best case? Order of 1. One time only you have to check everything. You don't have to repeat it all. So the best case is automatically order of 1. But the worst case is order of n square. If it is not in sorted order, it will go with order of n square, O of n square. Is that clear, everyone? Perfectly clear, right? Okay, good. The Triply girls able to understand better? Any Triply girls, please just let me know. Clear? Very good. If okay, EC people, hopefully it is clear for you as well. Any EC student? Okay, good. CSE people, probably you are understanding. IT students, IT girls, are there any IT girls in the meet? Yeah, somebody has raised. Yeah, Sadia. Yes, it's clear for you, right? Okay, done. Now let us go for another algorithm, that is selection. Now you understood bubble sort. How does it work? How do you write an algorithm? How do you calculate the complexities? All right. So let us go for the next one. That is your selection sort. As in the previous case, when you see the previous case, what did you see in bubble sort? Just remember bubble sort. Side by side checking is bubble sort. Okay, keep it in your mind. Side by side, when it is checking, it is bubble sort. All right. When it comes to selection sort, it will not do side by side check. What it will do first? Consider these are the elements. Again, I'm taking the same elements. Okay, 55, 33, 22, 11, 44. They are in an array. Assume that they are in an array for now. Okay, these are the elements. What it will do initially only, it will fix one element to be the minimum element. Here you are able to see 55 is not minimum. No, ma'am, you'll say. We are not seeing 55 there. We are taking the index position. That means इसका first जो array में जो first place है ना, that box you are considering it to be the minimum number. You are not taking the element in that. Okay, so you are first considering this first element to be a minimum element. Now what are you going to do? You will then move further and check with the rest of the elements. All right, so first place is fixed. So now what we will do, we will start comparing from the second element. Okay, so next what will you do? You will see that 55 is fixed. Now you will see is 50. Now that when you see that, here you will check is 55 less than 33 or greater than 33, the next element. You found that 33 is smaller than 55. Now you will say 33 is my minimum element. Understanding it on this position is fixed, ma. Keep it to your mind, this is a fixed position. Okay, now you're comparing 55 with 33. You found that 33 is smaller than 55. Then now you will shift it from saying minimum and you will go to the next element, call it minimum. Again, I'm repeating, position is fixed. You have selected this position, it is fixed here. No change in position, only this minimum wala thing is changing. Now this 33 will compare with 22. It found that 22 is comparatively smaller. It will shift minimum to 22. Okay. Again, from when it shifted here, again it compares 22 with 11. It found that 11 is comparatively smaller. Okay, so it shifts that minimum to 11. It came off here. It compares 11 with 44. But 11 is only still small, so minimum is here. Now, initially, you have fixed a position. This position is fixed. It is stored somewhere. Depending on that position, now that since you got a minimum element in the entire array, you will get these swaps. So this comes here, this goes here. Understood or not? Yes or
Yes,
no?
ma'am.
Perfect. Okay. So what? Understood, right? So in this, what did in the previous case when you did bubble sort, what did you understand in the bubble sort? With every first pass, the biggest element is going to its original position. That means it has reached the right corner, right? The next biggest element came one position before to the biggest element. In selection sort, the smallest element will take its position first. So all the very smallest number will come at the first with each pass. So see here, first pass again I'm showing you. First, this place is fixed. This is a fixed position, right? Now you have considered initially this to be a minimum element, and then compared it. You found 33 is minimum. You shifted that minimum pointer to this. Then again you moved on to you compared again. Once you compared, you found 22 to be minimum. You made this. You shifted your minimum pointer to 22. Then compared 22 with 11. Then you shifted minimum to 11 because 11 was smaller. Again you compared 11 with 44. You found that 11 is only small, so you kept minimum over there itself. So in the first, now what did you do? As I told earlier, this two have to swap. This is a fixed position and this is a minimum element that you found. So these get swapped. So 11 came here, 55 went here. So do you have to again sort this element? Do you need to think about it?
No.
Not at all. So you will forget, you will discard this part. Now you will fix this position. You will take the next element, this position. You will fix this position and initially you will consider this to be minimum. That starts with your second pass. So this is done. You don't have to think of it. In the second pass, you will start from this one. So this is your fixed place. Again, this place is fixed. Now again, I'm saying you, the number is not fixed. The position is fixed. That means the index position of that array is fixed, not the number at all. Don't at all think numbers are getting fixed. Only minimum pointer is pointing, or the pointer is also pointing to the box to see the element into it. The number that you're fixing is also fixing the box place, not in the element in the box. Okay. So here what it does, it checks here. It checks 33. Minimum it checks. This all you understood, I guess, by now. 33 compares with 22. So it found that 22 is smaller. So it makes 22 the minimum. And then what it will do, it with 22 gets compared with 55. Still 22 is smaller. So minimum is here only. Again 22 gets compared with 44. Understand where minimum is, that will go. In the previous case, side by side it was checking. Here no, selected place. 22 was minimum, that will only do a comparison. So here still 22 is smaller than 55. It stayed back. The minimum pointed is here only. 22 is smaller than 44. So the minimum pointed stayed back at 22 only. Now who should get swapped?
33, 22.
Very good. Because 33 was your initial fixed place. So now you got one element which is minimum. So you will swap these two. So what will happen? 22 comes here and 33 goes here. So when I do the next pass, do I have to think about 11 and 22?
No.
No. This is finished. Therefore, you will not even think about it because they came in their original position. In bubble sort, what was happening? Things were taking position from end. From here, it was going this way. Bubble sort, it was going this way. Selection sort, it goes right sideway. So what happens? This positions get fixed. Now what you'll do in your third pass, you'll concentrate from here, right? So 33 is your fixed position again. You will put the pointer of minimum on 33 and again start comparing. All right. So this is how your passes keeps on moving and till the end you will do the same thing. So at the end of each pass, what did you find? This is how. Initially it was 11, 33, 22, 55, 44 at first pass. Second pass, you don't have to think about the left side. Again, here also don't need not to think. Here also need not to think. Finally, you'll reach your position. So let us understand the algorithm. Algorithm is quite similar to the previous case. No big deal. There it was putting the max. Here only thing that you have to think, in the previous algorithm you were not fixing any element position. In this algorithm you need to fix first, I mean, you have to fix a position. Two, what another development you have to do? You have to maintain this minimum. And whenever a change is happening, whenever you're doing any swap, you have to change that minimum position to the next element. Understanding it or not? Algorithm, previous algorithm is karna hai yahan par bhi, because previous algorithm also you're doing swapping, here also you're doing swapping after comparing. But in the previous case, you had no fixed element. In the current case, that is in selection sort, you should have a fixed element. Once you finish fixing, from the next element, leaving that fixed position, from the next element, you have to do the comparison and see which is minimum, and keep changing that minimum till you really get a minimum position. Once a minimum position comes in place, then you have to swap the fixed position to that minimum position. That's all is what you have to do. The rest of the algorithm is same. So look at this place. So selection sort, how does it work? First, you will say for I is equal to 1 to n minus 1. You know why we are taking n minus 1. I already told you. And then what are you doing? You have to take a minimum element. So you're taking a of I. A of I is the minimum element. That is the first element, like 55 as we took here to be the minimum element. Yeah, here. So you're representing with a of I. Then what I said, the location has to be fixed, I said. I mean, you're taking a location here. You're not fixed. The minimum is the number. The fixed position is the location of the array. So what is the location of the array represented with I? Because this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So first position has to be taken. So when you come back to the algorithm, see here, you said minimum is a of I. Location is only I. You might get a doubt, ma'am, why did you write I here? Why not a of I? Fixed position is the index position. Minimum is the element. Remember, fixed position is the index position of the array. Minimum is the element, the number there. Understanding it? Yes or no, girls? Every moment I'm coming and checking my chats also. If there's any doubt, please put it over here. Clear with it, right? No doubt? Okay. Now what you have to do here again in this step 2, what will you do? You will go from the J. Why are you using J? Like in previous case, also you need somebody to move ahead. You need someone to keep going ahead by doing the comparison. So that is being done with J. From where will J keep doing this? Minimum, how is it shifting? From I plus 1. It is going to shift. From here, minimum came here, right? So it was I over here. So J will work and say minimum to be I plus 1. So it moved from I plus 1 to where? Till where it is going to go? Till n, because it has to go to the last element. In previous case, what was happening? You were not going till the last element, but here you have to reach the last element. Why, ma'am? Why not there? There, the last element is getting its original number. So n minus 1 positions are only checked. Here what is happening? The first place is getting its original number. So you have to go till the nth element, last element you will go. So how do you do a comparison? A of j is less than minimum element. Then if it is less, then you will change the minimum element to a of j. And then you will check with the location. Location is j now. Like this, inner loop continuously works. If the location is not equal to I, then you will do a swapping technique. You just have to trace this with this algorithm, with the passes, you will be easily able to understand. Now that I just told the class, please don't listen here and forget here. Take this algorithm and trace the elements. Unless and until you do not do this, trust me, you will get confused. Why, ma'am, why did you put this? Many of your minds will be in this part now. I'm sure if you are really concentrating and listening, you will have this doubt in your brain saying location is not equal to I, then you're asking to swap. Obviously, you will not, fixed position, minimum position will not come at the same place. So if they're not at same place, only you will do this swapping. You will not do it if both are at the same place. Minimum cannot change with its own location, right? Therefore, you're doing it. So unless and until you don't trace it, you will not be able to understand. Let me tell it to you once again. Now let us calculate the complexities. Complexities, same as before, same thing. When you see at this, the only difference what was happening, is, where did I write that? Yeah. In the previous case, just keep this in your mind. It was going this way. This was how your triangle, I mean, your passes was. In this case, when you see bubble sort, when you come back to bubble sort here, it was this way. But the number of passes, the way it was going was the same. Reduction in this way, and there it was the right side way. So here also, what will happen here? Yeah, in the first place, if there are n elements, you will do n minus 1 comparisons. In the second pass, you will do n minus 2 comparisons. In the third pass, you will do n minus 3 and so on till you reach one element, right? So when you do a complexity check, you will add up all these things, n minus 1 plus n minus 2 plus n minus 3 and so on till 1. Then this can be written as summation of n minus 1. And you have a formula for summation of n minus 1, that is n into n minus 1 by 2. Once you multiply, it becomes n square minus n by 2. As I earlier said, that you have to go with the highest degree polynomial. So over here you find n squared, so you fix it to be O of n square. What is this case that we're talking? Best case, worst case, average case. Which are we talking here? Can anybody tell
Worst
me?
case.
Very good. We are talking about worst case. What would be the best case of this?
O of
Order of
n.
one.
Order of
And
order one. Order of one. Because if everything is in sorted order, only one pass is enough. You don't have to think anything more. Right? You don't have to check anything. So therefore it becomes here, worst case is order of n square. Clear everyone? Any doubt till here? Guys, any doubt?
No, ma'am.
Perfect. Good. I'm. Don't worry, Vindu and Aisha. I'm seeing chats also better. Don't worry. I'm coming. If you're not muting, also, I'm just referring your chats as well. Now coming to other sorting, we'll end up today's session with insertion sort because there are two more sorting. If I say that, you will get confused. That too also. Till here only it becomes heavy for you now. Now, insertion sort. Let me give you a small example. Assume that in your class, when we distribute your answer scripts, earlier after your mids, we used to show you your marks, no? So we used to give it to all the class 60 students, roll number wise we used to give. You people don't sit in the roll number order in your class, definitely. So all papers are scattered here and there. Now what do we faculty do? We don't go bench wise to each student roll number wise and take papers. Instead, what we'll do, we'll ask two girls from your class to get up, and basically they're always the CRs and ACRs, sometimes other students also. So we'll ask them to collect all the papers and place them in the order. So what do you do when your CR and ACR is there? You will say one girl, you take 1 to 30. You will say the other girl, you take from 30 to 40, 30 to 60. If in case, again taking 1 to 30, all are scattered. Many girls are scattered in that 1 to 30. Similarly, for 31 to 60 are also scattered. You will again ask one or two more friends to get up. Bench wise, you will ask them to take. I mean, row wise. Whatever, I mean, row or column wise of your class. So if you remember your classroom still, probably you might have forgotten your classrooms, but then let me remind you, there is Stanley College. In Stanley College, there is classroom. In classroom, there are benches. Now in your classroom, basically you will find there are somewhere about 4 columns in B. Basically, if you remember there 4 columns of benches, right? So you will ask one girl from each column, you take papers of your side, right? Then again one more girl take papers of your side. Again third girl from your side, put it in order, and then you accumulate them at one place. Or 1 to 10, 10 to 20, 11 to 20 in that order to make it more faster. Or 1 to 20, then 21 to 40 and 41 to 60. Understanding it or not? So what did you do? You have done, yeah, you have made some arrangement. You have made some plan of how to do. Similarly, when you're playing cards, I hope most of you know how, at least if you do not play, you know how cards are played, right? So when you play cards, when the person distributes all your cards, you will not immediately take off all your cards. What will you do? You will take one card, one card. I mean, slowly one card you'll lift. You'll take the first card. Assume that you got your first card as 3. You'll hold it. Next, what you will do? You will take the next card. Your next card was 5. So what will you do? You will keep that 5 after 3. You are arranging over your hand. You'll keep that 5 after 3. Now assume that you got another card that is 4. Then what you will do? You'll move this 5 other side. You'll move this 3 a bit left. You'll put that 4 in between 3 and 5. Understanding it or not?
Yes, ma'am.
Right? Then again you picked another card. You found another card to be an ace card, A wala card. Where should that go? That has to go before 3. So you will place that before 3 and set those cards again. What did you do? Your elements were first placed on the table somewhere. You kept your array ready in your hand. That is, you kept your hand ready, took the first card, placed it in the array. Then when you took the second card, you compared that card with the card which is already on your hand. That is the array. When you found that there should be a change, you moved the elements in the array front or back in that way and then placed it in their order. Same implementation is done on an insertion sort. Understanding it?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, so same implementation. Yes, give me a second now. 1 second. Let me have some water. Yeah. So now let us take these elements similar way. Now that you understand in real time how things are happening, right? Same thing we are applying it here in insertion sort. You took 40, 50, 10, 90, 30. Assume that these are your numbers, that you have to arrange them in this order. That means it has to be 10 followed by 30, 40, 50 and 90. That should be your order. First, you are going to pick the first element. You cannot take anything from this. When the cards are placed, the very first card you will lift. Similarly, you first took 40. Okay, 40 is in your hand. Now next what you will do, you will make place for the second card to come in. So what is your next card? That is 50. You will compare this 50 with the already existing card, that is 40. What did you find? 40 is smaller than 50. So you don't have to do any shift. You'll place that 50 next to it. Till here clear? Clear?
Yes, ma'am. Yes,
Okay,
ma'am.
good. Now what you will do, you need that passes over. Okay, one card passes over. Next pass starts. 40, 50 is already in your hand. You will take the next card, that is 10. Okay, 10 came in. You will compare that 10 first with 50. Okay, you found that this 10 card is smaller than this 50. You cannot immediately jump because it's an array. It is in continuous position. You cannot shift elements at a time. You can't shift 40 and 50 at a time. It is not your hand that you can put things immediately. It is an array. There you cannot shift two elements at the same time, right? One after the other you have to do. So you will compare this 10 with the last with the last element. So you found that 10 is comparatively smaller to 50. So you have to shift this 50 here, right? And then, ma'am, immediately do I place 10 here? No. Again, compare that same 10 with 40 also. This place gets empty, no? The moment you shift this 50 here, this place is empty, right? Then you will shift this 40 here. Then this place gets empty. When this place gets empty, you will put that 10 here. See here, you will understand from here. So what did you find here? 40, 50 you compared. You found that for 10, 50 is bigger. So you wanted to shift this. So when you shift, this place got empty. Then now what you'll do, you'll compare again that 10 with this 40. That 10 card, where is it? It is on your right hand. You're holding it, and on the left hand is your array. This thing is in your left hand. Okay, you will compare it with 40. You found that still 10 is smaller. You will shift this 40 here. Now this place becomes empty here. Then you will place 10 over here in its original position. This is your second pass. Clear? Till here elements are done. Next, what you will do, third pass, you have to take the next element. What is your next element? 90 is your next element. So where do you compare? Already this is a sorted order. You don't have to think about it anymore. But when 90 comes in, you have to compare. Is 90 less than 50? No, it is greater. So you do have nothing to do. Directly you will place 90 in this place. Okay, you have nothing to do. Because, ma'am, you have to check with 40 and 10. Already 50 say, but so why do you have to check with 40 and 10? There definitely there will be smaller numbers behind. Understanding it or not?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so you don't have to again check with 40 and 10. Last element is enough if you check, because already you know that इससे पहले वाले numbers, ये number से smaller. It is smaller than these numbers, so you don't have to do everything again. Last element. You are trying to reduce your time of checking. Here, what is that? What is that has happening between selection sort and insertion sort? Insertion sort is trying to reduce its time of check consistently rather than going behind, checking with every element. It is checking the last element and it is playing its game. Now 90 placed here, so 90 came. Next you have one more element to come, that is which element? 30. So 30 has to compare with whom? It will compare with 90. It is small, so you will shift 90 here. Now this place got empty. Again 30 you will compare with 50. So you still find 30 small, so this 50 has to shift over here. So this place got empty. Again 30 is compared with 40. So this 40 has to shift here. This place is empty. Now again 30 gets compared with 10. Comparatively 10 is still smaller, so you will place that 30 here. So here it becomes your 30 falls in this position here, right? So how is this written in the form of an algorithm? How is this done in the form of an algorithm? Here you start with you go from step 2 to 5 as usual. Here you're saying I is equal to 2. Why are you saying I is equal to 2? Because you have nothing to do with the first element. When you look at this, the first element is kept first. From where are you starting your work? From the second position. Understanding it or not?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes, ma'am.
Clear? Had it been if this we represented in place of 1, we represented from 0, then this would have been 0, this would have been 1, right? So difficult to write with this mouse. Okay, so this would have been 1. So from where will you start your ith loop? From 1.
1.
Now that you're writing 1, 2, 3, you will start comparing it with the second element. So I is equal to 2. First wala you will not disturb initially. So I is equal to 2, till where will you go like that? Till n, because you have to complete all the numbers, no? Till the last number you have to go, till here you have to reach. Therefore, it starts from the second, I is equal to 2, till this n completes. Next, inside it goes, you will set new is equal to a of I, that you have to create one empty space, right? So you are saying new is equal to a of I, repeat. Step 4, so j is equal to I minus 1 down to 1. What does this mean? Here you are comparing the new element with the previous element. I was fixed to 2. Look at this, you will understand now. So when you're bringing 50 here, that 50 should get compared with whom? With its previous element who is sitting here. So if this is getting represented with j, if the movement is getting represented with j is equal to, whom should it check with? I minus 1, the previous element it has to check. Therefore, you're present because I is starting from 2. I is located at 2. But checking with what element? That second position is checking with what element? The first element. So I minus 1 you're writing. Now you're checking, is the new element less than a of j? If it is less, then you are shifting one element position. You're not shifting the new number, you're not placing. You're shifting the position of the previous number. जैसे कि यहाँ पे you're not putting the number, first you're shifting it off. Movement you're doing. Here I wrote it also. Shift element one position right, it moved away. Else you break it. If it is not done, you break it and again go back and keep shifting. Once you finish shifting, once this part, this fourth step is only to keep shifting the numbers. Just say here, what was happening? 30 had to come. You first made everything to shift, all these elements. So this part of loop, fourth step, is first doing the shift places. All shifts are done. After doing that, new which you fixed have to come to its position. Therefore, here it is where you will do it. You are fixing that element to that position. Understanding it or not?
Ma'am.
Perfectly understood or not? Guys, please respond, ma. Understood, not understood? Any doubts till here? Sorry. Okay, so now this is how your no doubts, very good. So this is how your insertion sort. So I am leaving how to calculate insertion sort complexity to you, because now that I have taught you how complexities have to be done, I'm leaving this complexity to you. Let me give you the answer. It will still be order of n square. The worst case of this complexity will be order of n square, and the best case will be order of n instead of order of 1. It will be order of n because it has to go to n elements. If you had elements like 1, 2, 3, 4, so you need to pick all cards, or will you stop at the 1 card? You need to pick all cards. First element, second element, third, fourth, fifth. So order of n will be there, the best case. Worst case will be order of n square. Why n square? That I am leaving it to you to calculate. Is that clear, everyone? I gave you the answer, but I want you guys to calculate on your own. Yeah, I'll do share the PDF, ma. How do I share it to you people? Shall I put it in your group? You have that group, huh? Okay, I'll put it in that. All right, I'll do that. The rest, everyone clear, right? EC students, Triple E students, IT, CSE students, any one girl from each, please respond. Clear, no? Okay. All right, then. Once we finish this, tomorrow we'll be doing quick and merge sort. I'll finish it faster. So mostly, but they are interesting. Those two sortings are again very interesting. So once we finish this off, the next week, if Shastri sir or principal sir comes in, they will continue. If not, I will continue with taking this what do you call your technical questions, how they are asked, that we will solve you. If Shastri sir is well, he will bounce back again to you people, or principal sir will continue. Is that clear? So tomorrow we'll be doing quick sort and merge sort. Very interesting and frequently asked things, quick and merge. Okay, so please be available tomorrow on time. We will finish it tomorrow early a bit comparatively. Only 2 algorithms, no, it has to finish soon. All right, so probably I'll end up here and I'll send the document on your group. Don't worry, I'll do it right away. I'll do it. So Chandrika, if you're there, ma, I prefer to end up.
Yes, ma'am. Okay, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you, Chandrika.
Thank you, ma'am.